All right, guys. So we are live. I said kind of out of nowhere today. I was like, I'm gonna go live and talk about how you can raise money in film, how to raise money for your film projects. Yesterday, I posted on my Facebook that we had a pitch meeting with a network, and I did receive a lot of great messages, um, a lot of great messages that of encouragements and best luck, great good luck, keep knock them out. But I also did get a lot of messages in my inbox saying like, hey, how did you get funding for your project? What do you do in these kind of pitch meetings? So there was some interest there to kind of talk about it. So if you guys are watching this, then most likely you might be interested in learning how to raise money for your film projects. I have a couple of tips and tricks that I feel has helped us raise funding for our projects. Some of the projects that we raised funding for is our feature film Empathy. If you guys are not do not know about Empathy, you can go to our Empathy film page on Facebook and also Empathy underscore film on IG. So we raised just under, I don't want to disclose the amount, but we raised enough to shoot this movie, take it through post production, and now we're getting ready to release this movie. So, how did we do that? We also were very fortunate to shoot a pilot for a TV series in Jamaica. So it's like, how do we get a chance to do this? How do we raise the funds to do this with our own film projects? So I'm going to go over a couple of tips and tricks that I know of, how you can raise it. Before I get started, guys, if you don't follow our Instagram, please go follow our Instagram at cupcake underscore rapture underscore studios. Definitely appreciate it. All right. So if you have a script, right, you're a script writer, or let's say you're a producer. If you're a producer or script writer and you want to raise money for this film, first off, you need to know how much money you are trying to raise. That's the big one. If I have this 90-page script in front of me, I need to know how much money I need to shoot this 90-page script. How big is the scope of this story? Is this something that we can do at an Airbnb? Do I need to rent out Mercedes-Benz Arena for our ending? So you need to know first off how much this costs. And normally, like a line producer or so a not a very experienced, but an experienced producer can normally look at a script and break down the script so they can know how much things are going to cost. How many locations is in this script? Are we using the same location? If you use the same location, then you can save some money. So that's actually smart producing if you have a low budget. So let's say you have this script and you guys figured out how much you need to raise for this film. And let's just say the number is $50,000. You have this story about a dog who left home to find the boy who lost him, right? And we need $50,000 to shoot this movie. What do we do? Okay, so here's my tips and tricks, right? If you have people in your circle that you can go to, right? We all know somebody that's an entrepreneur. We all know somebody who owns a business. We all know some real estate agents. We all know some doctors. We all know some lawyers. We all know someone, right? What you need to do is pull on your network. Go to your family. You have to be a cheerleader for your project. If you treat every movie like its own business, then you'll start kind of thinking about who can I pull on, right? Who can I talk to first? Who may be interested in this? Why would they be interested in this, and how you can sell them? If you don't have any sales experience and you're a filmmaker, I highly recommend learning how to sell a little bit. Learn how what it means, the show business part of it. Learn about show business. So learn how to pitch, right? So what will help you pitch your product? A pitch deck. A good pitch deck will help you pitch your product to your investors. Now, here's a big question that a lot of people always ask me. What do I tell these investors when they ask, how can I get my money back? If I'm investing my money into you, when can I get my money back? And what is that trajectory? You know? So anytime you're doing a film, um, you always kind of want to say it's a slow burn investment, right? If they're into investments, if they understand that, then they will get that it's a slow burn investment. Depending on the market, depending on the movie, it may not, blow up right away. You want it to, you hope it will, but you got to understand that it may not. It's a possibility it may not. So you need to tell your investors, hey, it's a slow burn. Now, if you get these investors interested into filming your project, right? Okay. So that means that if they invest, then they get a percentage of, the film. They may get a breakdown. So every movie, you have 100% of the movie, and then you get to sell different percentage points to your investors. And now they're financially involved in the project. Now they're invested into your project and they own a certain percentage of the film. So that is very important to know. If you're dealing with people who are into business, if your investors are not normal filmmaker investors, if your investors are not normal filmmaker investors and they don't know about how to make money in film, then you got to explain it to them like every other business. And that's what it really is. Films is just our product that we sell. So you have to look at film as every other kind of business and say, hey, you're buying into this business, and this is our plan to make the money back. We plan to do this with this trailer. We plan to do this with the premiere. We plan to talk to this distribution company. We plan to blah, 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 A point B. And they need to know your plan. They need to know your business plan. And your pitch deck is kind of a little bit of that. So the thing is, in this industry is show business. So you got to be able to sell the show, tell them the story, why people will care about it, why you think they should care about it. But then you also got to have the business side as well and say, hey, now that you understand the story and you like the story, let me show you the business parts of it. And this is how we plan to attack our market and hopefully get, not hopefully, but we will see our refund in investments. So that is one way of doing it. Okay. Now let's say you hit all your people up, right? You hit every person and you know what? The market is bad right now, or the stock market is bad, the economy is bad, inflation is whatever, and nobody's really investing. Nobody really wants to be a part of this project like you thought they would. That's a bummer. So then you may have to go to crowdfunding, right? Crowdfunding is very popular, and a lot of projects is done with crowdfunding. I've done crowdfunding. With my latest project, it was all private funding. But on crowdfunding, this is what I still recommend on crowdfunding. So you guys all seen the Kickstarter pages. You're all seen the Project Greenlight pages. You all see those pitch decks. Those are very good models. There's YouTube videos that will explain to you exactly how you can make a killer pitch deck on Kickstarter, right? So you follow those steps. Now, this is what I like to do. This is something I've learned from someone. If you are able to raise any funds, if you're able to raise any funds before you go to crowdfunding, make sure you mention, guys, we already raised $8,000 and we're this close to our goal. So now people seem like they're more inclined. Is more difficult to start your campaign at zero and work its way up. But if you start your campaign and you already have 8,000 in it, then people are more eager to help out. So try to private fund as much as you can first before you go to the crowdfunding. That is a big key for me. So try to private fund as much as you can. Now, with the private fund, you're going to really have to be, calling people and saying, hey, I just need an hour of your time. I'm working on a project. I would love to pitch it to you and see what you think about it. And that's a qualifying question right there. If you use the word pitch, they know it's sales, they know it's something to do with money, and they know it's going to be acts at the end of the day. So if you use that language, hey, I want to pitch it to you, then they understand that it may be an ask at the end of the day for after that meeting. So once you get all your private funds, then you go to your crowdfunding. And your crowdfunding is about just being that cheerleader, being that organizer online to show people why they should care about this project. You have to post every day, twice a day, 3 times a day. Make sure you keep the pressure on. And as the closest you get to your deadline, I've seen people do the timers on their pages where it's like, guys, we have 30 days left to raise this money. We have 8 days left. We have 2 days left. A trick that not a trick, but a technique that I like to use is to put a lot of pressure on the people that's watching or anything like that. If I have a crowdfunding and let's say I'm $1,000 short, which this has happened to me before, I was $1,000 short and I had like 4 days left. I just went on my Facebook and said, guys, I need 10 of my friends to give me $100 so I can hit this goal. And I got 4 days to do it. I just need 10 people to give me $100. So I was very specific with my ask. I was very clear of what I was looking for. And I was able to raise that $1,000 in like that day. That day it was done. Because it wasn't a big ask. A lot of people have $100 to share. So it wasn't a big ask. Now, once you raise that money and you have everything in, then you can shoot. Now, there's a couple other ways. You can always file for grants if your project is something to deal with a certain grant initiative. If you're dealing with something with social justice or disabilities or drug addiction, domestic abuse, if your story is revolving around some of those, then yeah, there may be some grants out there that you can look into. There's a lot of screenwriting competitions that give money for the winners and things of that nature. But those are my big two: is private funding, and then is also crowd raising. Your family is always going to be there for you. Your family is always going to kick in something, now, but how do you go from just doing a short film for a couple of $100 to doing a feature film for a good chunk of money? So how do you go from there? So the best thing about short films is that if you keep your story tight and you keep your budget tight, is more likely you can get your project completed, and then you can display some of your work, and then you can ask for more later, because now people are seeing you grow, people are seeing your work, people are seeing how you progress. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, I think the comments work on StreamYard. I'm going live on 3 different pages, so I'm not sure where you guys are watching. But if someone actually can comment in the post, it says can't post comments to some destinations. Okay, so if someone can actually comment in the chat for me, just so I can test to see if this works, because this is my first time using StreamYard against all of these. So so comment if you can. So how do you go from having a short film to your feature film? So I'm gonna tell you a true story. This is how I think I was able to get my movie Empathy funded. Shout out to Rob Gintz, the writer of Empathy, who calls me every day to make sure the project is still going on. So the way that I was able to raise money for my feature film through my short film is that I made a short film called Ice Pimp. It's on YouTube. It's on our YouTube page. If you haven't seen it, it's a 17-minute watch. It's a comedy, but I made a movie called Ice Pimp for $100. Like, that's all I had. I had $100. I had my friends shoot in it, a lot of my actor buddies, and I bought them some chicken wings on the lunch day. So all that movie cost was $100 to shoot. And I purposely did it for $100 just to show that I can do something for cheap, that I can shoot something, I can make a short film. I don't need all this money, because a lot of times, guys, it's not about the money, it's about the story, and it's about giving the audience some entertainment. If you can show that you can entertain your audience, and if you only had $100 to do it, then people are going to be like, well, dang, just imagine if you had blah, blah, blah. Just imagine if you had a couple of more bucks behind you, So I purposely made a movie called Ice Pimp for $100. And now what I did with Ice Pimp is that I really kind of jumped into the merch for Ice Pimp, and the shirts sold really well for that movie. So I was able to have some numbers to show like, hey, I'm seeing a some good return here on the shirts. So what if we did a bigger something? Let's go bigger with it. So what I did was I did a premiere for Ice Pimp, and then I made sure to invite people who I thought was interested into supporting my film journey. And then after the Ice Pimp premiere, we talked about doing something bigger, and that was Empathy. So that was kind of how I used my short film. I leveraged my short film in a way to try to gain interest of other people, saying, "Hey, look what I did with $100. Can you imagine what we can do with more?" So I purposely challenged myself to get that done. So, and I also purposely, guys, challenge yourself to shoot content on your phone. Try to shoot just stuff, like just shoot stuff. It don't matter about the equipment. It really don't. As long as they can hear and see. If you're just trying to get your story out, that's what people really want to see. How do you, if you're a director, producer, they just want to see how you put these things together, and then you can go and say like, "Hey, look what I did with little to nothing." Now, on the other side of that, I also did a short film, and we raised $8,000 for it. That one was called The Devil's Room. That one was our first short film we did here in Georgia when we moved here, and we did a crowd fund. We did a whole crowd fund, and we was able to raise $8,000 for that movie. So you get to see what I was able to do with 8,000. You get to see what I was able to do with 5,000. You was able to see what I was able to do with $100. You was able to see what I was able to do with 30,000. So it doesn't matter like where the budget falls into place. I'm gonna get the story done. I'm gonna get it complete. So as long as people can see that, then they may want to invest into you. So that is a way you can leverage your short films into raising more money for your bigger projects. So those are like my tips really for like how you can raise some funds for your short film project, for your feature film project. It's very important to make sure you know who you're talking to about these projects when you pitch them. Now, that being said, I have a lot of pitch meetings where I don't know the person that I'm pitching my project to. So right now, in one production that I'm working with, we have someone that's setting up meetings for me to come in as the director and just talk to the potential investor. So usually I don't have any communication with these people until the day of, and then you got to make a good impression. You just got to be able to pitch your project, talk about your project with confidence, know what you're trying to do, and then it's in their hands at the end of the day. So you got to be able to really know what you're saying with your project. That's where I'm at now with it, where I don't know the people I'm pitching to. I don't, but I know they're interested. We already qualified them. Someone already qualified them. Sorry, qualified them. And then when I get on the Zoom or I go to their office, then that's my first time meeting them, and I'm telling them, hey, I want to, I want to kind of have some of your money. It's my first time meeting you, but I need to get this project made. But you got to know your project. So your pitch deck, study your pitch deck and everything like that. So if you have any other questions, if I didn't cover everything here, please feel free to DM me. Go to our Cupcake Rapture page, DM me there, or go to my Facebook and DM me. I hope this information was helpful. I hope someone got something from it. But again, if it wasn't clear, just reach out to me. I'm going to try to do this more often, talk about film, especially as our projects are coming out. Guys, we have a premiere at the end of July. So if you are in the Atlanta area, our movie Empathy is coming out. It will be a grown and sexy event, a grown and sexy night. So come dressed to impress. We're going to have photographers. It's going to be a red carpet, the whole nines. And I can't wait for you guys to see our first feature film and put it out there in a big screen. And we also have more coming up. I have the From Yard premiere that's going to be coming up. That's going to be most likely a catered event by a different charity we can't talk about right now. So we have a lot of stuff in the pipeline that we can't speak about, but this is something we can speak about. So I hope you guys learned something from it. If not, I tried. So it is what it is. Again, my name is Leland. I represent the Cupcake Rapture studio crew. My wife Phaedra's over to the side. You want to just put your voice on it one time?
Hey, hey.
There she go. She didn't want to be on camera. I didn't know I was gonna be on camera today. I just said, you know what? I'm about to go live and talk about it because I got a bunch of messages. So that's what I would tell kind of everybody. There's a couple of other things. Oh, one more thing for everyone who's still watching. There's a book that helped me out called Film Entrepreneur. It's Film Entrepreneur. That really helped me out to understand how. Oh, no, I know who's written by, but I don't want to. I can't remember the name. But I don't want to, Google it while I'm on live. So, Film Entrepreneur. You want to help me out? I like Joe Rogan. Hey, can you look that up? Sweet. But that book really got me understanding film as a business and how to look at film as a product. Sometimes as filmmakers, we can get really sentimental in our work. I mean, it's our art, It's Alex Ferrari wrote Film Entrepreneur. He's a very famous person. His name just skipped my brain. But sometimes we get very sentimental and very close to our work because it's our babies. But sometimes you got to think about the business side, that it is show business, and sometimes you got to take that I'm in love with my project hat off and put on your code producer hat and think about what's really best for your project. And when you're out of money, you're out of money, and if you're out of time, you're out of time. And there's a lot of stuff that happens in the film when you're on set. But yeah, Film Entrepreneur really helped me learn how to look at film as a business and how to look at it with a different perspective. And that helped me as well learn how to speak to investors about how they make their money back. And also, guys, we're learning a lot about distribution. If you're watching this and you're in the film industry and you're trying to make movies as well, I think we all can agree that film distribution seemed to be the most guarded and the most kind of gate kept part of it. It seems to be getting better. There's more distribution companies popping up who's a little bit more transparent. But that seemed to be the part of it that was always a little bit more gray area. Like even when I spoke to people who've been in the industry for years, they didn't want to disclose some of those things about the film distribution industry. So we're learning more as we get ready to take empathy to distribution companies and put it on streaming platforms and all that fun stuff. So that's it, guys. Maybe I should try to do for 30 minutes and just kill it. Guys, if you have any questions, please look into see if it's working on the comments. I would love to be able to see if anyone has any questions out there for their project that they may be working on. And if not, then I can make sure I write them down for next time when I come on it. Today's Tuesday. I may start doing every Tuesday, guys. So if you're interested in this kind of content, it'll be on our YouTube. If you guys aren't subscribed to our YouTube, please go to our YouTube and subscribe. And also our Instagram, Empathy Film, From Yard, all these projects. Yeah. So I'm not seeing any comments come through. I think I might have to work on that on StreamYard and kind of fix that up. Let me see something. Here we go. Nope, not working. So I'll work on that to see if anything comes through. All right, guys. So thanks for watching. I really hope you guys took something away from this. Reach out to us on our DMs if you have any questions, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.